Okay, I thought this was an M6 nut. I wonder if that's in the wrong container. One of the things that you end up having in a rally car that isn't strictly speaking required by the rules is a small toolkit for emergency roadside repairs. Not required by the rules, but certainly permitted by it, and pretty much everybody has something because sometimes that's the only way to finish a rally is to fix things by the roadside there. And the most important of which are your tire changing tools. I found a leave it to the internet to show me that one weird trick to something really clever to secure some of the heavier ones. So one of the coolest things I saw, obviously their rally is more popular in pretty much the rest of the world than the United States, but especially in Europe, and there is a UK company that makes this thing where it's a toolkit that fits in cut-shaped foam and drops into your the inside of your spare tire. And I thought that was pretty slick. So basically I've cut a couple rounds here to sort of emulate that and steal their idea, because they've spent the last several months out of stock. And also, it was not cheap to order that, would not have been cheap to order that even without having to import it from the UK. If you're sending it across the pond, something that heavy would have added just a whole bunch of expense to something that I can basically create for myself. So I think step one is to cut little notches in the end of the round here, because I want to be able to pull it out in a hurry. So I'm going to put some webbing down under it, and I need to make sure that that goes at the correct angle, because on top, obviously the zip gun is not going to, it's too thick, so it's not going to go all the way down into the foam. It's going to sit up, so this has to be on the top, and the tire strap has to go across it, and so the pulling up straps have to go at right angles to that. Yeah, that part where I made a big deal about making the strap go at right angles, just let's pretend I never said that, because I clearly pretended that I never said that. What it looks like. It stacks fairly neatly. I'm gonna see if there's anything else I want to fit in there. The kit that they made up, I think they're showing the 18-incher on there because they can fit in like a whole thing of sockets and hex wrenches and all this other stuff, and I don't know how they did it. I'm not convinced that they were using a wheel as small as mine. I'm also debating about whether or not to take the BFH with me. Because apparently there's BFRs everywhere you look if you think about it, so why use a hammer when you can bash it with a rock? Although I did need to replace my dead blow hammer because it was pretty cracked from me seriously abusing it apparently, and there was no room for the sockets other than the one that goes on the lug nuts, so I think that's going to have to go in a bag or something, and I can put anything else that I want in there in the bag, I think. No, I didn't have to order this special. Yes, I keep webbing at home because I can find a use for it often. For whatever reason, I apparently had not touched the blue one. This is a brand new package, but I also have red and black up there, but I only had like a foot of black. This could probably use a little more trim. Damn. Well, we're going for proof of concept here. Actually, I'd probably rather fit it somewhat snugly. And then we drop this down on that. And now we can just pull that out anytime we want. And I think if I make a figure 8 on a bite, sort of, I might end up with something handle-worthy. No, that's not really a good handle. It's probably better off leaving it the other way. Maybe someday I'll bother to... I swear that was going to work earlier. Tend to fall over because I didn't cut deep channels and it's not centered, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. It's still pretty fucking slick, I think. Alright, I thought before I started routing even the T-piece that it might be a very good idea to decide where the nozzles are going. Probably have to put the engine back in before I plumb the lines for the engine. So that I don't accidentally run them into a place where the engine is going to rub. This is actually an M6. No, okay. This is simply user error. Imagine that. Okay, let's grab the actual nozzle. Fucking shit. Make sure I give myself enough room to make the appropriate bend, because there's this blower fan here and I don't want to make a tight bend. They recommend that you keep the radius of turns 25 millimeters or less, and with a recommended recommended less than 50, but definitely less, or I'm sorry, recommended greater than 50, but definitely greater than 25. What the fuck? What was I grabbing that I thought I was tightening? Okay, that's considerably more solid. Probably not behind the clutch pedal would be a smart idea. Is this... Oh, this hole's not going to be big enough, is it? Son of a bitch. That's okay, I own a drill. In fact, it's right here. Hey, convenient. Now, I own a drill. The question is, can I actually get in here at this angle? The answer is yes, with difficulty. Really? Does this fit this time? Yes, good. This is probably fine up out of the way of clutch pedal, and then I can just route it up and over. As a side note, I was able to test this, and it turns out that the little nut on the nozzle itself is that weird size 15. So the 15 mil strikes again. Or rather, not 15, 16. Okay, I will want this right about here so that I can run that directly across. And perversely, I think that I have a scrap here that will be just the right size for the driver's side. Alright, now let's see if I actually put this the right way on the first try, and I can secure this later. Let's go up and around and down. And that end will get plugged in there. And this end will come around and get plugged in here. That side will go that way. And I just need a couple things to tack this down and we'll be good. Everything about this process is basically iterative. Kind of bend a little tubing, check it. Okay, that's not where I want to be. Let me bend it some more, put it back, check it again, until you finally go through enough iterations that you feel comfortable cutting it, and then do a final test fit before actually committing to the shrink wrap, the abrasion resistant tubing or whatever it's technically called. And I think they must have changed their heat shrink tubing, because it's, or not their sheet, their protective sleeve stuff, because it's definitely thinner than it used to, than the stuff that came in the kit at least. So just a bit of this to curl around exactly the way it needs to work. All the way in. Okay, good. Nice gentle bend. Go to the other side. And see if I can get this to... Come on. Is that actually... Previously I'd felt maybe I'll try it from the other side. There, that's in. Okay. All right, front's plumbed. I just need to tie it down a little bit. Do I hear a delivery truck? Okay, yes, postal service, but nothing that needed a signature. The other day they missed me when I was in the garage, which was aggravating. In one of the most convenient things that's happened to me, there's a very convenient hole in the floor right here that required only a little bit of breaking of threads to... It was a gigantic bolt. It would not have worked well with one of these little tiny holes in the nylon clamps. But conveniently, it was almost the exact right size for an M6 riv nut. I just had to drill out the threads, and now it's a smooth hole. Oh, wait a minute, did I just go after the one that I didn't drill out? Oh, asshole, went after the wrong hole. That's what she said! That is what she said. Alright, that might be one of the... I couldn't resist, I'm sorry. Alright. No. Oh, wait a minute. That's too tight. I was in the right place the first time. Oh my god. I should just quit while I am ahead verbally. So I drilled this out to the right size for a riv nut, and now I'm kind of wondering what the fuck. Okay, it worked this time. I'm going to chalk that one up to user error. I know! What a surprise! Maybe before I tie this down, I should trim this appropriately, seeing as how I left myself a little bit of slack. To cut this right about here, the tubing at least. And need that much to go inside, and this much gap for the things, so stuff. It's funny, this is my smaller, I would say worse tubing cutter. And I guess maybe because it's smaller, it actually did a better job than the fancy one that I have that you can replace the blades on. It can handle up to inch pipe. Okay, so get this to lock positively. Go. It's tight and... Alright. Officially plumbed, at least through the cabin. Well, I guess we'll finish this episode with the most important part of the team, the people being protected from fire in case of a crash. Obviously, we'll have to at some point connect the engine side of things, which gives additional protection, because, you know, that's where the Bernie stuff is, unless you count the fuel tank at the back. In the meantime, 2 weeks from now, we will be taking a break from the build videos because I managed to tie Phil down long enough to actually get a proper intro video so that you can meet that guy and not just be the random face and voice you see and hear sometimes. On the downside, he was here helping me with the car, and I decided that it was time to do the timing belt because apparently if that snaps, it's pretty much grenades the engine. So I figured I wasn't sure when that had last been done, and it was time. And unfortunately managed to do something and screwed it up, and now the engine won't turn properly. Glad to discover that before I made it to anywhere time critical, but unfortunately that means Snowdrift is kind of out because I don't think I'm going to be able to find somebody capable of rebuilding this entire engine from the block up in the next 3 days, because that's how quick it would have to happen. So there's bad news on that front, but it is what it is, unfortunately. I'm just angry with myself for having done it. Well, in the meantime, we'll get the Phil episode together and keep working on the car behind the scenes and hopefully be ready for 100 Acre Wood in March. Until then, insert catchphrase ending here. Well, that seems like a good enough breaking point, and I never figured out how to end this shit. Alright, fine.